It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be my, won't you be my, would you be my neighbor? Happy New Year. We're here again with the Carbondale Neighborhood Alliance meeting. I hope everyone's well. I'm Kareem Shariati. I'll be your conductor this morning. And my job today is basically just to keep things moving. Things are a little different, so I'll just keep things moving. We'll just go right with the program. We have here one of my colleagues, former colleagues, with the Human Relations Commission, whom we are under the umbrella of, to give us a welcome. Please let me welcome you, Stephanie Brown.
Thank you, Kareem. Hello, everybody. And on behalf of the Human Relations Commission, I would just like to give a big thank you to Jennifer, Sarah, and Kareem for all your hard work and dedication in setting up today's meeting. I would like to remind everybody that the HRC meets the first Monday of every month at 5 p.m. You can find our link via Zoom on Carbondale City's websites, and we look forward to a great meeting today. Thank you, everybody, and back to you, Kareem.
Okay, we're going to be expeditious with this. I didn't mention it, certainly Stephanie didn't mention it, but for you guys that don't know, Stephanie is a commissioner with the Carbondale Human Relations Commission, and she's also the chair of the commission. So congratulations, Stephanie.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, again, yeah, I'll just keep things moving. We've got a lot of beautiful people here and with a lot of information to share, and we'll just follow the program and keep things moving. We have a timekeeper, and everyone is getting 2 minutes. And on your screen, when you hear the one bell ring, you have like 15 seconds left. Once you hear 2 bells ring, it's time to get out, or I'll go and get my broom and push you on out. So here we go. FoodWorks, Jennifer Paulson.
Hi, thank you. It's really great to have the opportunity to talk for a couple of minutes today. My name's Jennifer Paulson. I am the executive director of a local nonprofit called FoodWorks. Our mission is to strengthen our sustainable food economy in Southern Illinois. And we do that through programs like what you see on that side of the screen. Our organization is working towards a resilient Southern Illinois. We want equitable access to fresh, healthy food for our communities. And we want farmers to have access to the education and tools that they need to grow food for our communities, and to do that sustainably in terms of the economy, in terms of ecology, in terms of social support. So most notably, we right now are running the Winter Farmers Market in Carbondale at the University Mall. This takes place Saturday mornings through the end of March. We have a socially distanced in-person farmers market this year, lots of space between people, as well as an online ordering system with curbside pickup. So we're looking to just connect people with those local food producers. We also do farmer training programs like Southern Illinois Farm Beginnings for small scale entrepreneurs. And we run an alliance of local sustainable farmers. This is a really great time. I'm really happy to be able to talk today, because if you're interested in learning more about FoodWorks or joining the movement of people trying to feed our local communities with healthy, nourishing food, join us tomorrow for our annual meeting. Information is in the upper corner here. And you can register online. We'll be meeting via Zoom. You can catch up with what FoodWorks does and kind of lend your voice to what you want our food system to be. So that's it for me. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jennifer. Representing the Carbondale Chamber of Commerce, Tom Davenport.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for welcoming me to your neighborhood. I've been on the job about 6 months. Our mission at the Carbondale Chamber is to advance the interest of business and make Carbondale a great place to live, work, visit, play, and invest. We have 405 members of the Chamber. A couple of new initiatives we have going. We have a Black Business / Organizational Council made up of 17 members who are part of our Chamber of Commerce. So we're glad that organization is getting started and moving forward. Probably in November, we will have, COVID willing, a tour of our local industries open to educators, community members such as yourself, and government officials, so that all of us can see what today's industries look like. You may be surprised if you join our tour to find out we have a lot of clean industries and very well-paying jobs. At our March membership meeting coming up, we are fortunate enough to have the president of the Illinois Chamber of Commerce, Todd March, speaking, and we hope you can join us for that as well. As far as what the Chamber of Commerce does to enhance folks who join our Chamber of Commerce, we have networking opportunities where we have probably over 25 networking opportunities. Most of those have been virtual. There'll probably be some hybrids moving forward, maybe in April and May. And again, we're always very cautious and safe before we make those decisions. But networking is where people meet other people, just like today, find out who represents whom in the community, and how to hopefully make their businesses thrive and profitable. Another point is visibility. We help you stand out as an active member in your community. Growth, we help people do that, credibility and lending a voice. And last but not least, we'd love you to be a member. We have a membership rate of $105 for nonprofits. So for more information, go to carbondale-chamber.com. Again, Tom Davenport, President, CEO, Carbondale Chamber of Commerce. Go out and have a wonderful Chamber of Commerce day.
Thank you so much, Tom. With the Carbondale Park District, Kathy Renfro.
Good morning. My name is Kathy Renfro. I'm the Executive Director of the Carbondale Park District. And we are looking forward to getting some programming back as the COVID restrictions lift. I'm going to focus this morning simply on some new youth programs and initiatives that the Park District is rolling out. A brand new program coming out this year is Learning Tree. It's a program designed around children 3 to 5 and their families and their caregivers. The concept of the program is to learn through play. It's a recreational setting with a twist. We have early childhood educators leading those groups. So kid-initiated learning with the goal to prepare those children and their families for the weekends. For school. We will hope to engage the families late in the afternoons and on the weekends. Another exciting program, Youth on Course, that'll be offered at Hickory Ridge Golf Course. This is a brand new initiative to help area youth get on the golf courses for a very reduced rate of about $5. Other area courses who participate can also benefit from this program. And I'm very happy to announce that Kids Corner has some additional openings for the youth during the week of spring break. And we also will open up some additional seats for remote learning at Kids Corner in support of the area school districts. And we do have some spots opening up right after spring break. Happy to say that at this point, we do believe that our Summer Days camp will return this summer. The first week will kick off with swim camp June 1st. And those theme-based camps will run through the summer. Our last week of camp will be August 9th, featuring martial arts. We are also very optimistic that the Super Splash Park will reopen for the 2021 swim season. We certainly hope to see you all at the pool's edge and around the parks, getting out for some much needed exercise and fresh air. All of this information is available on our website at cpkd.org. And as always, if you have programs that you'd like to see offered by the district, please do give us a call at 549-4222. Hope to see you around town and certainly at that pool's edge in the coming months. Thank you.
And you're very welcome, Kathy. Upon moving to Carbondale, the first school that I attended in Carbondale was Brush School. And I actually walked to school, being only like 2 or 3 blocks away. For those of you that don't know, the Carbondale Public Library sits almost on the exact foundation of the former Brush School. Representing the Carbondale Public Library, Jennifer Robinson.
Well, thank you so much. So the library is currently open for appointments for all the services that we normally offer. We are also doing curbside pickup and homebound delivery for people who are unable to leave their homes for various reasons, or for people who just want to come to the library and pick things up but not come in. So during the past year, during the pandemic, the library's been helping a really wide variety of organizations hold virtual community-wide programs, kind of like we're doing with this one. And we believe it's helping the community to stay connected. So we've mainly been doing these on Zoom, but we also try to stream programs to the Carbondale Public Library Facebook page. And we also started a YouTube channel that we're putting all of our programs on as well. Our children's department has been offering crafts and storytime kits to take home, in addition to the story walks you might have seen around, which are in partnership with Green Earth, which I believe they're going to talk about a little bit more later. Our teen department is beginning another season of Project Next Generation, which is a STEM program for 5th to 8th graders. And this spring, the theme is Minecraft, and it's being held virtually on Discord. In addition, we recently received grants from Illinois Humanities and Healing in Illinois in partnership with Carbondale United to do a mentorship program for Southern Illinois youth who are at risk of exposure to gun violence. We were also recently accepted into the Community Webs program to build a digital collection of archives of local history, particularly of underrepresented groups in our region. So that's exciting. March is going to be a really busy month. We have multiple candidate forums that we're helping with and many other programs. So you can find all of this information on our programs and all of our resources, e-resources on our website, carbondalepubliclibrary.org. So thank you so much.
I want to give a special shout out to Jennifer and the Carbondale Public Library for organizing and coordinating our virtual meeting today. Thank you so much. You guys, I know you've heard this before. The grass is always greener where you water it. Representing Green Earth, Stephanie Eccles. Are you there, Stephanie?
I saw her there.
I'm so sorry. My mute was stuck. I couldn't get my mouse to it, but I had a short talk anyway, so I'll just jump in. For those not familiar, Green Earth is a nonprofit land conservation group that owns 6 preserves right here in Carbondale, all for public enjoyment. As with all the groups here today, many of our activities had to be canceled over this past year. Our children's play day and plant sale fundraiser in the spring, our very popular pumpkin glow in the fall, and the alternative gift fair fundraiser this past holiday season. All of these really did impact our budget, but there were some silver linings. First, when the shelter in place occurred over the spring last year, people started looking for outdoor activities, and many people in the community discovered us for the first time. And while we don't have a system in place for tracking visitor numbers, we did take trailhead counts during some of the peak use times. We estimate that the numbers of visits rose from around 100 per week between all our sites pre-pandemic to pretty close to 1,000 per week during its peak in the nice weather. Another silver lining from the pandemic was the partnership that was established between the Carbondale Library and Green Earth. When the library had to cancel their summer reading programs, they reached out to us to ask if we would consider hosting story walk trails. And these are 1 page per station, so the child can enjoy an outdoor hike with their family and read a fun children's book at the same time. We loved the idea, and after the initial temporary trail were so popular, we worked together to install a permanent story walk trail at our Oakland Preserve. So with the increased use of all our sites, we did have additional costs piling up, trail guide printing, sign pricing, and a hefty investment in gravel to stay up with the increased foot traffic. But our volunteer work days remain well attended, and we were able to do a lot of good work with trail management and trail maintenance. So if you haven't been to a Green Earth site yet, you need to treat yourself this spring. The wildflowers are amazing and very worth the trip out. So just Google Green Earth and Carbondale and you'll find our website. Thank you.
Oh, this train is on the roll. Keeping Carbondale beautiful and Crippen Staple.
Hi, how are y'all doing? I'm Ann Crippen Staple. I've been with Keep Carbondale Beautiful for about a year now. Got hired on right as pandemic hit, so it was an interesting time. The lovely Sarah Heyer mentored me through a lot of this process. We have a lot of litter pickups and educational events coming up. We have our biannual spring native tree sale coming up April 3rd. So get your pre-orders in. We're gonna have a Zoom meeting to answer any questions about planting or picking trees or shrubs and any kind of Q&A that anybody might have. For all of the month of April, we have the 30-day litter pickup challenge, which is a socially distant, like safe replacement for the long-standing tradition of the spring cleanup and recycling day. And hopefully we'll revisit that when things are safe again. And you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and keepcb.org for all of our updates and, you know, events coming up and that kind of thing. So, oh, one more thing I want to mention is we have these grab and go litter pickup kits and they are available at Hickory Lodge. And they have instructions, bags, gloves. You can get vests for safety and some litter grabbers for upon request for any kind of pickups that you do. And they're labeled small, medium, large. So yeah, that's just a little bit of what we do. So thank you.
And thank you, Ann. And by the way, I really, really love your hair.
Oh, thank you.
Here we go. The president of the Carbondale chapter of the National Association of Colored People, Dr. Linda Flowers.
Good morning on behalf of the Carbondale branch NAACP. Our mission is to work to ensure a society in which all individuals have equal rights without race-based discrimination. During the past year, the major focus of our work was on both the 2020 census and the 2020 election. We were instrumental in getting people registered to vote and to the polls to vote, as well as to fill out those 2020 census form. Currently, we're focused on education around the COVID-19 vaccine, as well as encouraging and assisting community members with getting their vaccine scheduled. I invite all of you to attend our March 8th town hall on Illinois House Bill 3653, the Criminal Justice Reform Bill. You may register at the Carbondale Library Facebook page or website. We too received an Illinois HEALS grant, and we have selected 9 titles that we're going to be reaching out to you to read and participate in some community small group discussions around those titles. Thank you.
You're very welcome. With Racial Unity, another colleague from the Human Relations Commission, Commissioner Mickey Weaver. Mickey, are you there?
I think Mickey might have been having problems joining, so maybe we could see if I can resend her the link and we could add her later on.
Okay, moving right along. Jess Job with the Carbondale Racial Justice.
Always forget to unmute yourselves. The Racial Justice Coalition meets on the first Thursday of each month at 7:00 p.m. via Zoom, and folks can message us on Facebook for the link. We're really heartened by the ever increasing cross-pollination and collaboration among other community organizations, including the NAACP, Carbondale Spring, Carbondale United, the SI Unity Coalition, the Sierra Club, Race Unity Group, Concerned Citizens. Our focus at RJC continues to be on racial justice in systems and policy, including law enforcement and education. In the last year, we've been working to inform the police chief search process with a push towards greater inclusion and deeper diversity in the process, and to stand in support of those community members with lived experience who raise concerns over police in schools, disparate school discipline trends, and concerns over over-policing in predominantly Black neighborhoods.
Yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da. Okay, representing the Jackson County League of Women Voters, Gail Clem. Gail?
I'm here. Hi, everyone. I'm Gail Clam, currently the president of the League of Women Voters of Jackson County. For those who don't know what we are, we're a nonpartisan, meaning we do not support candidates, civic engagement group. And over the years, we've focused on helping the public as well as our members learn who the candidates are and what races are current, and to participate in elections. Upcoming in March, we have 3 candidate meetings coming up. On the 11th of March at 6:30 is a candidate meeting for the representatives of the candidates who are applying for city council. On March 16th, the following week, Tuesday, we have a forum for School District 95 candidates. And then that following Thursday, we have a forum for the candidates for the John A. Logan trustees. All the candidate meetings are at 6:30. They will all be hosted by the Carbondale Public Library, and you can participate in those forums by registering on the Carbondale Public Library webpage. And I would encourage all of you to get involved and to participate and really know who the people are that you're voting for. And that is the primary organizational motive of our existence, is to help people understand their candidates, to participate in the electoral system. Thank you.
And thank you everybody for recognizing the bill. With Carbondale United, Nancy Maxwell. Nancy?
I'm coming. You skipped somebody, so I didn't know.
JD Tanner.
JD Tanner was before me.
Okay, well, let's backtrack. These are old brain cells.
Okay.
The first real job that I had coming out of high school was at Camp 2 at Little Grassy Touch of Nature, and representing Touch of Nature, JD Tanner.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you. JD Tanner, and I'm the director at Touch of Nature Environmental Center. I've got just a couple of updates for you on the center today. One is that we hope to be offering our day camps this summer. Obviously, we were in the same boat as everybody else with COVID and weren't able to run any camps or programs for most of the last year, but we expect to do so this summer. But the biggest information that I'm here to give to you all today are some updates on our new multi-use trail system that's open to the community. COVID did not prevent us from building in our new trail system that we got several grants and donations for. So we'll have a grand opening at some point in April. We don't have a date set yet for that. But in April or early May, we'll have that, and we'll open up our 33-car parking lot, 10 miles of multi-use trail that are open to hikers, bikers, and runners. And we'll also be opening a kids terrain park, which includes what's called a pump track, a strider track, and a skills trail that are ideal to teach kids how to ride bikes on what's called single track trail. I'll drop our web page link in the chat box for everybody, and I'd encourage you to take a look at what that trail looks like to give you an idea of what you'd be getting yourself into should you decide to come out and go for a ride or a hike. And we hope to see you all out there. Thank you.
Okay. All right, here we go. Nancy, I want to thank you for helping me to keep step marching on.
No problem. That's what I specialize in. So I'm Nancy Maxwell. I'm the director of Carbondale United. In November 2019, a large number of people gathered together to discuss gun violence and the murders of several multiple youth in Carbondale. Out of our grief and concern, Carbondale United was born. Our mission is to provide an avenue of healing, community safety through the following: awareness, education, and activism. Our goals are to eliminate gun violence, racism from our neighborhoods, and provide events that are inclusive and diverse. We have certain events that repeat, like the Blackout Tuesdays, the virtual summits, and of course, like I said, we march. Our collaborating organizations include the Women's Center, Sunrise Movement, Southern Illinois Unity Coalition, the Race Unity Group of Carbondale, Zeta Amici of Carbondale, Illinois Mom Demand Action, NAACP, Aces for Youth, First Christian Church, Women United Network, Carbondale Human Relations Commission, the Carbondale Library, and the African American Museum of Southern Illinois. And we always are looking for any other organizations to join us in collaborating on events. We too, through the Women's Center, have the Healing Illinois grant. We have several events coming up this month for March, which is includes Meet the Carbondale City Council candidates. We have Carbondale United presents Black Hair Story, a Black History Month, which should have happened, but the snowstorm happened, so we rescheduled it, and that will be on March 4th from 5 to 7. You can register for braiding lessons and a kit that you can pick up at Carbondale Library. On March 13th will be the anniversary of Breonna Taylor's death with no justice. We will be marching at 3 p.m., starting and ending at the Carbondale Pavilion. A program will follow the march. We also will be having the Black vendors with our Black Tuesday business group in the University Mall on March 23rd from 4 to 7 p.m. And I think that's where I gotta stop at for March. But please look on the Carbondale United page and the library and Soul Ill Unity Coalition for a list of our other upcoming events. Thank you.
All right, thank you, and keep marching. I want to digress here for a second. It seems that we have Dr. Weaver with us here. Can we digress with the Racial Unity Group representing the Racial Unity? Dr. Mickey Weaver.
Oh, thank you. I had problems getting on. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Racial Unity. We still consider
Okay, I got a song and dance if you need me. Okay, Mickey, hold on and we'll see if we can work this out. We have some technical difficulties with her. Jane Adams, are you there with the dog part?
Weekly basis.
I am.
Newman Catholic Student Center. Our mission, Race Unity, was to develop friendships across the different racial groups. Mainly, that's what we do. We develop friendships. In order to develop friendships, we participate in different activities. Before the pandemic, we would have potlucks at the mosque every fifth Monday of the month. We would attend movies together, such as the Black Panthers, Justice Thurgood Marshall, the Black Klansman. around the same time we got started, around 2016, SIU was having some racial discord on campus. And so we met with dean students to see if we could use our format of racial unity with the SIU students. Some of the cheerleaders were having problems because they took the knee. And also one young lady was experiencing some racial discord in her dormitory. And so we did hold and show the racial taboo one time only. For some reason, it didn't take off. But recently what we did for Black History Month, we had a wonderful program. Young man named Walter Green set it up for us. And we had people from all over the country reading Black authors every Monday. It was just going to be a one-time event, but it ended up being the whole month of February. We get involved in various activities in the community. People will come to us if they've had some problems in the school settings with their children experiencing racism. They've come to us and asked us to share with us what could they do as parents. We watch various, there's one where, there's one series. Give it a second. Let Jennifer call it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Second bell. Okay. The Friends of the Dog Park. Jane Addams.
Hello. I'm here. I really want to thank everybody who's put this program together. It really does show the vitality of our community that makes this a great place to live. As many of you know, a small group of us have been working for several years to build a dog park in Carbondale. We've had enormous support from the public as well as from many professionals who are providing necessary services. In 2019, the Park District agreed finally to allow us to build a dog park for the district at Parish Park, which you can see behind me. That's the site of it there behind the Life Center. We were all set to begin construction when COVID hit. Mark Weiss of the John A. Logan Construction Program, his class was going to build a pavilion and concrete walkway, the very first phase of construction, beginning right after spring break. But Logan shut down right after spring break, so we've been on hold for the past year. We're now set to begin this March. Despite COVID, it's been a productive year. We've now raised enough money to be sure we can build a bare bones 2.5-acre park. We have water fountains in hand and are set to install them once that's built. Our small group that makes up the board of directors has grown into a strong group able to contribute our diverse skills to this project, and we all like one another. That's remarkable after all this time. I'm looking forward to the time when the dog park is built and we can enlarge our organization. There's so many ways we'll be able to engage dog lovers and supporters of dog lovers, from regular poop picking up days to dog training workshops and fun festivals. So thank you very much.
Oh yes, this train is really picking up steam right now. We want to welcome to us today the new director of the Irma C. Hayes Center here in Carbondale, Robert Wills.
I don't know if I see Robert on the list here.
Well, thanks, Jennifer. With the Carbondale Garden Study Club, Sarah Einan.
Hi, good morning. I'm Sarah Einan. I'm impressed you got my name right. That was very impressive. It's nice to be here today. I'm the president of the Carbondale Garden Study Club, and I'm here today to tell you about our new project, which is the Butterfly Garden at Turley Park. This garden, as you probably have appreciated it over the years, was established many, many years ago. And it has been maintained by the Evergreen Garden Club here in Carbondale until last fall, when we were given the opportunity to adopt this garden as a club project. We plan to redesign this garden entirely, changing it into a garden that will host our native butterflies and pollinators, while continuing to be a beautiful place for our community to gather and enjoy. We are in the very early stages of redesigning the garden, and we expect this project to be done in several phases over the course of the next 2 to 3 years. Gardens take some time to mature, just like people do, but we hope to end up with a garden that is both beautiful and ecologically beneficial to our native pollinators. Just to give you a little bit of information about how we're going to conduct our business, we will be using organic gardening methods and a majority of native plants, and we plan to create a design that reflects a more natural aesthetic, similar in style to the Lurie Garden in Chicago's Millennium Park, but obviously at a much smaller scale. We hope to also use this garden as an educational resource, kind of an outdoor learning lab of sorts, where we can hold educational programs, demonstrations, and inspire people to take these techniques and plant ideas home to their own gardens. We will be adding educational signage and registering the garden as both certified butterfly and pollinator habitat gardens, which means that we will have to meet certain ecological requirements and it will be put onto a national butterfly garden map. We hope this will increase awareness of the importance of these life-sustaining creatures and encourage Carbondalians to plant some habitat in their own yards. We are working in cooperation with the City of Carbondale, the University of Illinois Extension Office, members of the Evergreen Garden Club, other community members, and anyone else who would like to collaborate with us. So if your club or organization would like to get involved, please let me know. We are welcome any gardener to join us or any newbie. You don't have to have any experience at all. The Carbonell Garden Study Club is welcome and open to everybody. I'd like to thank the City of Carbondale for their support of the project and Mark McDaniel in particular for all of his work and cooperation. If you would like to follow our progress, you can find us on Facebook at the Carbonell Garden Study Club, or you can email me directly. And I hope to see you out in the garden. And if you see us out there working, you're welcome to join or come say hi. Thank you very much.
Okay, and I hope we don't come to the garden alone. And there should be some dewdrops over there too. There's one person here that I have a middle name for. The middle name is the Energy Man. The Energy Man Beck, representing the Sustainability Commission.
Good day. The wonderful thing about Carbondale right now is the fact that we're putting in so much solar, we might have to change it to Solardale. It's been on our radar a lot recently of all the good things that are happening in the city. If you go to greenercarbondale.com, it's our sustainability website. And there's also a lot of stuff being shared around Facebook. The one thing we've been working on for the longest time is the Sustainability Action Plan. And we have some phenomenal members on our committee that meet regularly in spite of all the hardships on trying to get together. We meet on Zoom and we have been working on the Sustainability Action Plan. And we are also working on the Green Spot Award. Both of those are geared towards basically highlighting the good things that are happening. Basically creating, with the Sustainability Action Plan, creating a baseline so we can show the better things that are happening. With the Green Spot Award, basically it's organizations and businesses who are doing good things in our community. And so thank you for making Carbondale more and more sustainable every day. That's all I got.
Okay, and that's more than enough. One of my favorite hymns, gospel hymns, is "His eye is on the sparrow, and I know that he watches me." An outgrowth of the Sparrow Coalition is the Warming Center. Carmelita, are you there?
I am here. Hi, everybody. I'm Carmelita Cahill, the Executive Director of the Carbondale Warming Center. Let me start by saying, and I think I say this a lot and I can't say it enough. We're only here because of so many of the groups that are actually represented here that help continue to support us and support the guests that we serve here. Many know we started out as a 12-hour warming center to be open for about 4 months, and then COVID turned everybody's world upside down. Since March 22nd, we've been a 24-hour shelter, and then we fluidly went into that. And then even in the past few weeks with the weather that we had, we expanded our space again and to accommodate so that we didn't have to turn anybody away during that snowstorm and during those very deep freezes that we had. We've, right now, our board is meeting pretty regularly. We're kind of at a crossroads as to, you know, what we do with the responsibility that we've created to the guests that we serve at this point, and how and where we go forward from here. Definitively, we'll be here in the winter again. And right now we're here until we get our guests vaccinated. We want them to have that badge with them so that they're able to interact with the community and be able to freely, you know, do the things that they might need to do to create success for themselves. Since we've been here during that time, we've created a jobs program that we worked with our guests on. 60% of the participants in that program have obtained and are still maintaining their employment. We have an interview closet. We have a men's empowerment group and a women's empowerment group. And those are really important. I think we sometimes forget that with homelessness, there is a trauma that goes with that, and we have to build from the inside out. As always, we are grateful for all of the support from the Carbondale area, and we could not do a thing that we do here without you. Thank you.
And a great big thank you, Carmelita, for everything that you do. As I look through the list here of all the people that are participating today, we have a who's who of community activists in Carbondale. Most everybody here are wearing multiple hats. And so we have one of those people here now representing two groups, Dr. Ella Lacey with the American Association of University Women, and I'll introduce her again when she finishes with her time. Dr. Lacey.
Thank you so much, Kareem. I'm representing AAUW, formerly American Association of University Women. AAUW engages in advocacy and promotes equity for women and girls. When started as the national organization, which started in 1881, at that time, girls were going to grade school and high school, but colleges and universities did not broadly welcome females. However, we hope that it's with the help of AAUW and many other organizations and other kinds of things. By 1949-50, women comprised 24% of the graduating classes. It got up to 24%. And 50 years later, in 99-2000, women comprised 57% of the graduating classes in colleges and universities across the country. Anyway, AAUW Carbondale is a branch, and it's part of a state and national organization, which enables us to do much of the advocacy and work on equity. On the local basis, we do work with the university. We're not a part of it, but we work closely and try to broaden the awareness about things. We have been pleased this year to have the president, the chancellor, speak to us, as well as the former chancellor at one of our regular meetings. And we do meet on the second Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. every month.
Okay, and since you've got your wind going, Dr. Lacey, could you continue with I Can Read?
I will. Thank you so much. I Can Read is a volunteer-led after-school program for children from kindergarten through 5th grades with Margaret Nesbitt as its director. It is an independent 501c3 organization that works closely with and realizes support from Carbondale Elementary School District. This effort was envisioned and brought to fruition during the 50th anniversary of the 1948 graduating class of Attucks High School in Carbondale. It's been a very successful program for these over 20 years, serving 25 to 35 children from 3 to 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday during the school year, and often with a summer reading camp of about 6 weeks in summer. 2020, of course, placed us in a new status. Instead of 30 children arriving by bus from their schools, getting a healthy snack, settling into a room with a tutor and several of their age mates, they instead have had to go home if they went to in-person school, or stay at home all day with computer-based lessons. As a result, after we closed last March, we have not offered after-school programming for the children, giving them opportunity to get adjusted to having so much computer-based education and us adding more. Now that it's been a year, we are poised to begin Zoom reading next week, as a matter of fact. And we invite donations and volunteers to assist us as we embark on this new effort with I Can Read. Thank you very much.
And you're welcome, Dr. Lacey. The director of the Carbondale Main Street, Megan Cole.
Hi, I'm Megan. It's great to see a lot of partners and friends on this meeting or on this call. I always love this meeting. It's a little different this year. Carbondale Main Street is the downtown organization. Our mission in a nutshell is to promote and improve downtown. We are designated members of the National Main Street Program and have been since 1996. So we work in the areas of design, economic vitality, promotion, and organization. So most people know us for our events, for our promotions, that kind of thing, but we also have a grant program for businesses that improve their facades. We provide landscaping services in the town square area. We do run events, and we provide resources as well to all of our businesses. I would venture to say, as a neighborhood meeting, downtown is everybody's neighborhood, so come on down.
Come on down. Hey, Megan, we both have new glasses. Aren't they nice?
I like your glasses. Yes, I was going to comment.
Here's a group that's shown up on our radar here recently. Women for Change. Kate Heist. Okay, I'm not hearing anything. I see a Ginger Sanders, Ray Sanders there. Are you representing Women for Change today?
She's here as a candidate.
Oh, she's here as a candidate. I'll put an asterisk back there, right there, and see if anybody logs in. From the Arbor District, who do we have today? Is it Jane or Darren?
We have Kate Heist on the line for Women for Change.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, Kate, could you go, or Ginger, would you represent her?
She's on the line. She's there waiting. Kate?
Okay. Okay, we're going to keep this train rolling. I'll put an asterisk there.
Keep going. Keep going.
Once we get things together, we'll come back to her. Okay. I see Jane back with us. Jane, are you representing the Arbor District today?
Yes, it looks like our president, Darren Ackerman, has been probably called back to work. He was on call today. He's a nurse at the hospital. So I'll put on my Arbor District hat now, and because I'm the secretary and I send out the various notices. We're the only formally organized neighborhood association in Carbondale, and we have normally been very active, but of course COVID has put an enormous crimp in our activities because our get-togethers are the heart of our association. We've had one wine in the garden gathering last summer, but sitting in widely spaced chairs wasn't very conducive to high levels of sociability, especially with newcomers, of which we've had quite a number in the neighborhood. We do keep up the email newsletter, mainly with the announcement of events like this and deaths like that of our beloved Shirley Main in the neighborhood. We've had other deaths as well this year, which have really been tragic. And we're keeping our eye on the proposals for the TIF District number 2. For those of you who don't know about this proposal, some while back, the city proposed to create a residential TIF in our neighborhood. But based on city council comments, they've stepped back and now plan to extend the existing downtown TIF number 2 into 3 neighborhoods, a small part of our neighborhood, a small part of the Northwest neighborhood, and a small part of the Northeast neighborhood. Some members of the city council want to create an overlay zoning to guide development and to put stronger building standards for TIF eligibility. They voted to hire a consultant, but I personally am not terribly sanguine about whether their plans will really help convert the mined out rentals in our neighborhood into owner occupied homes or do other things to revitalize the older parts of town. Okay, I'll leave it there. We are continuing our work and we'll have get-togethers this following year, we hope. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome, Jane. As you can see, you're beginning to see, we have a number of people that are wearing multiple hats. We'd like to welcome back with us Stephanie Brown, representing Autism of Southern Illinois.
Hi, guys. I'm loving hearing about all the work that we've been able to continue to do for our city. With the Autism Society, us as well, we were affected by COVID as well. But as you drive through town, if you've noticed the playground that we partnered with Kiwanis Club and the city of Carbondale, the inclusive playground has been our project for 2020 and will continue for 2021. We are excited for all the changes, and we are just looking forward to keeping that going. We're still taking referrals for any child that has a disability or an additional need. So if you need us, we're always here. And again, thank you for everything.
Okay. I saw the little one there with you, Stephanie.
Oh yeah, Mr. Mason. And I would like to also add that Kareem, as he mentioned, we were former colleagues. He and I, he was part of getting that playground started. So I know it has a special place in his heart as well as mine.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Bo Henson, are you there with Carbondale Spring?
Thank you, sir. My name is Bo Henson. I'm an organizer with Carbondale Spring. We advocate a reprioritization of city tax funds in order to build a future worth living in here in Carbondale. I'd like to highlight a couple things before we get to our initiatives. Carbondale Spring was a finalist for the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation Culture of Health Award this year. Also led by concerned citizens of Carbondale and partnered with the Park District and Praise Central Church. Carbondale Spring has helped get funding from Healing, Illinois for a Coppers Tide Plant Memorial that will be sited in Addicks Park. So that is an exciting project. Our Food Autonomy Project looks to establish a resilient and healthy food system in Southern Illinois. We were part of a coalition of community gardens that worked with Addicts Social Services and Women for Change. And those are really fruitful relationships this year. We were able to deliver hundreds of bags of fresh produce door to door on the Northeast side, and also source healthy foods for the Southern Illinois Collaborative Kitchen, Boys and Girls Clubs, and many other. We'll be adding a shiitake and oyster mushroom farm on the Northeast side, where people will be able to get free mushrooms from this farm, which is in addition to other free food forests that we have built out over the last couple of years. We also have a chicken tenders program where 12 people were selected for a free chicken coop and 6 chickens. The only thing they had agreed to is they had to share the eggs free with their neighbors in a build the block type activity. I'd like to go to our renewable energies initiative. We launched Solarize Southern Illinois last year. This was highly successful. It was a partnership with a community solar working group. We did over 300 kilowatts of solar installed, over $1 million worth of revenue. And that was a really exciting project that will exist for 2021 as well. We'll be adding a compost curbside project this year into 2022, where we hope to divert up to 10 tons of food waste from the landfills and ultimately be able to produce some independent electricity for a community building in Illinois. Our worker cooperative initiative has established national networks with some very strong non-extractive lending partners. So we will potentially have access up to $27 million of non-extractive lending capabilities and an attempt to address the business secession problem in Southern Illinois. Lastly, I'd like to talk about our police and care work initiative. We do mutual aid Saturdays every Saturday where we disperse food, clothing to our most vulnerable. We also have harm reduction Tuesdays where we do a clean needle exchange, try to address the opioid epidemic. Also, I'd like to highlight lastly our work with the new state's attorney, Joe Cervantes. Carbonell Spring, along with people here, are designing the Civilian Advisory Board in order to increase access to the state's attorney's office. And we are currently designing a program based off the Junior CEO program that would divert low-level offenders away from the courts and teach them how to build their own worker-owned cooperative businesses. And with that, thank you for your time and everyone we've worked with over the last 2 years.
Okay, Bo. Okay, we're doing some of the best timing that we've done over the years that I've been with you guys. I want to give a special shout out to Sandy Lataki for being our timer. And she'll continue to do her thing for the rest of our meeting here. We're right on schedule. Everything is going well. We're going to make a right turn now. And I want to thank everybody for participating so far. But right now, to keep things moving, I want to introduce to you the Community Development Manager for the City of Carbondale, John Lindzini.
Thank you, Kareem. The Community Development Department is a reorganization of 2 existing divisions, the Development Management Division and the Building Neighborhood Services Division are under the umbrella now of the Community Development Department. That was formerly known as the, I'm sorry, the name escapes me, the Development Services Department before, but we felt community development was a little bit more user-friendly. Years ago, actually in Carbondale, there was a community development department. And so we've gone through several name changes, but we're still doing the same thing. We've had some reductions in personnel, but we have not had any reductions in things like neighborhood inspectors and in planners. We are hoping to hit the ground running again on after the COVID, which has been tough on everyone. We went through some quarantines and some shutdowns of City Hall and such. We tried to always maintain those services. We manned our telephones every day during the quarantine, even though not everyone was up at City Hall. Services are a big thing in community development. We want to always know or always let the citizenry know that we are there for them to try and help them out with a variety of services, such as housing complaints, building permits, any sort of development, whether it's commercial or residential, fence permits, shed permits, chicken coops. We also are in charge of the housing rehab programs under the Illinois Housing Development Authority are administered through our department. We also have various in-house housing programs such as rental conversion grants, down payment assistance grants, and curb appeal grants that are city-funded housing programs that we do. One of the basic mission of our department in a nutshell is to make Carbondale a livable place, a place that everybody enjoys, where they can prosper. And I've taken part in this neighborhood alliance meeting now for, I think this is the 5th or 6th year. Usually I'm the guy that's signing people up at the table and cleaning up and washing dishes at the end of it. So the Zoom meeting is quite an adjustment for myself and people like Sandy Latecki. But it's really, really good to see everybody still participate, even though it is a different format. And one of the things that people look at when they are looking at places to move to, and I talk to people moving to Carbonell all the time, buying houses in Carbonell, coming to school in Carbondale. One of the things that they really look at is all the community organizations that pitch in to make Carbonell a great place to live. Whether that is something like the dog park, which is under development, or the Keep Carbondale Beautiful organization, or Green Earth. A lot of people have different interests. A lot of retirees are coming to Carbondale, so they have plenty to occupy their time with, and that's very important. I talk to people, like I say, every day that are moving to Carbondale. One of the things, some of the accomplishments we've had recently is we helped in the census count, the 2020 census count last fall. We think we did a lot of good work there, knocking on doors. As you'll notice, the Econo Lodge got demolished through a floodplain grant with the state of Illinois. We've continued to expand our bike trails and our outreach with bikes. Despite not being able to do our 3-year housing inspection program, we are still covering all of the housing complaints that come in, regardless of what they are. We've also helped a lot with COVID response measures, talking to businesses about face mask enforcement and occupancy restrictions and such. So that's it in a nutshell. Thank you all for joining us at the meeting. And if you have any questions, many of you still have my email address and my cell phone and my desk phone. Those are all still the same thing. Please, if you have a concern, don't hesitate to call us, and we will try our best to help you.
Speaking of cell phones, do you still have that flip top phone you used to use all the time?
They took my flip phone away. I really like that thing. It's but they took it away. They forced me to go with a smartphone. They said they wanted a guy as smart as me to have a phone that lived up to my capabilities. So yeah, I got rid of it.
Well, you're richer than I am. I still have a dumb phone. Responsible for the day-to-day operations of the city of Carbondale is our city manager. We're proud to have with us today our city manager, Gary Williams.
Thanks, Kareem. And thanks to everybody that's here today. There's so many great groups in Carbondale. I'm always reminded of that every year when we do this. There's a lot of people that are doing a lot of great work and working in the same direction to get things done. So Sandy had asked me to go over the budget real quickly. You can probably imagine it's been an extremely challenging year for us. Starting early in the spring, we saw it at the very tail end of our last budget year in March and April, when COVID really set in and the economy shut down. We saw about $1.5 million that we lost through various sales taxes, which are, you can probably imagine. So at the very last minute, during the last in April, as we were preparing the FY21 budget, which is the budget year we're currently in, we made some pretty significant changes to our draft budget to try to make allowances for the anticipated revenue losses we would have this year. So in a nutshell, we went through every single category of revenue in our budget and adjusted them accordingly. Some we adjusted down more, like hotel tax, as you can probably imagine, and others we adjusted less, like packaged liquor tax. And overall, it was about a 10% anticipated loss throughout this year. But keep in mind that the initial estimates were made in response to what the public health experts were telling us, which was that we would be done with the pandemic in August, and the economy would be back in full recovery by right now. And obviously, as you guys know, for a variety of reasons, we're nowhere near full recovery, and so our economy has taken a bigger hit than we expected. So overall, our numbers are actually trending pretty close to what we budgeted for. If you follow our city council meetings once a month, our finance director reviews our revenues as we receive them. On March 9th, we will do another review, and I can go over them now quickly. Our home rule sales tax, this is the locally imposed taxes that we do. That's a benefit of having home rule authority. Currently in Carbonell, it's 2.5% is home rule tax. And so far this year, we are performing not that bad. We're about 5%, it's 4.73 to be exact, below our budgeted amounts. But it's important to keep in mind that's a little less than 10% lower than what last year was, which is a better gauge of how our economy is doing. So better than we expected throughout the year, and especially considering that the pandemic has lasted much longer than we expected. The other one is sales tax. Sales tax is 1% of the base 6.25% state sales tax. 1% is applied to everything in Carbondale that collects sales tax, whereas home rule tax excludes some categories like mainly auto sales. So sales tax is about 2.5 above our budgeted amounts, which we've been very pleased with. And we attribute a lot of this to strong automotive sales this year. That's one segment of the economy that apparently has not slowed down at all. But again, we're about 8.5% lower than last year, which is a better indicator of where we are as a community. The tax that's really taken a hard hit this year is our hotel and motel tax. We're about 51% lower than last year, which comes out to about $306,000. So that's been pretty painful. We expect this to continue to be down throughout this year, and a lot of experts on calls that we're on are suggesting that the one thing we've learned from the pandemic is what we're doing right now is a lot more feasible than people thought. And so from a corporate perspective in particular, experts are estimating that there's going to be a long-term effect on reduced business travel, which is obviously going to have an effect on Carbondale. Food and beverage tax are also down, and you can probably imagine why. We've had the restaurants close for much of the year. We're about 23% below last year. Obviously, it could be a lot worse, but that's about what we had estimated in April. And then the one sales tax category that's going really strong is packaged liquor tax. We're about 120,000 over budget, which is about 85,000 over prior year amounts. It's one of the tax categories and sales categories, as you guys know, that when there's an economic decline, people still spend money in this category. So a couple other things I want to hit on. FY22 budget, we are pretty close to having our draft complete. We've got 2 more budget meetings, and we'll be able to kind of have a really rough estimate of where we are for next year. So far, I'm a little bit optimistic. We're still predicting that our sales tax revenues are going to be down, which we expect. We don't expect for at least another full year to hopefully recover to where we were pre-pandemic. COVID, there's been a wonderful community response that I just want to applaud everybody on this call and the community in general. You can certainly see from our numbers in comparison to neighboring counties and municipalities that the diligence that our community has had, and our city in particular, in enforcing rules and abiding by the rules and trying to be good citizens and do the right thing is paying off. Our cases are much lower. We have a massive vaccination site here at City Hall, which is going really well. It's been very busy. You may have read in the newspaper today that the Jackson County is now vaccinated 13,000 people in the county, which is a great start to this. And then 2 final things. A lot of people are asking about our multimodal center. You guys may remember that 2 years ago, We received a $14 million grant from the United States Department of Transportation. It's something we'd worked on for many years. It was our 4th application to get that money. We have been working very closely with the Federal Transit Administration, who's administering the grant. We expect to have our design team selected by the end of March. And then we'll start the process of finalizing design in the next 12 months. There'll be a number of public meetings throughout the process, so the community will have ample opportunity to come and provide feedback and to be involved in that process. And then lastly, it was mentioned earlier, police chief search. Yes, we are currently in the process of selecting new police chief. A selection committee is in place, and they've created an online survey that we would like everybody to be aware of. They're seeking feedback from the community. And you can go, it's a really long link. I'd love to share it, but we'll be here for like 5 minutes, Kareem, for me to read this off. So the easiest thing to do would be to go to our Facebook page. And if you just scroll down, it's 4 or 5 posts down. There's a post about the police chief search, and in that there's a link to SurveyMonkey, and it's just a couple questions, but we would appreciate, and I know the committee would certainly appreciate the feedback. So, and again, much as like Mr. Lindzini said, we're pretty accessible here, and many of you have my number. So if you guys have questions, please don't hesitate to call, and we just really appreciate all the work you guys are doing for Carbondale.
Oh, wow. Great. 1 minute left. And since I have 1 minute left, Gary, before you leave, are you still there, Gary?
Yeah, absolutely.
A public relations thing with the police department when they announce the retirees and the people that have promotions. When they take the pictures and present it to the public, all of the guys are wearing masks. And I know some of the names, and I have a problem like putting the faces with the names. Is it possible that we can just have a picture of them holding the award rather than having the police chief and the person sitting there with their mask on? Could you kind of work with that? Is that possible?
Yeah, it's, frankly, it's not something we thought about. I think it goes back to also, Kareem, that we've wanted to set the standard and as leaders, be seen in our masks to send that message. And so that's really more what it's about. But yeah, absolutely. We can talk internally and see if we can make that happen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, we're running a relay here and we're making really good time. To bring us in on our final leg, I want to do a handoff to the moderator for our speakers for our candidates forum. Professor Emeritus from SIU Carbondale, Dr. Mary Pullman. Dr. Pullman.
Thank you, Kareem. There are 9 candidates for 3 seats on the Carbondale City Council. All candidates were invited to participate and 7 responded. Each candidate present today will have 4 minutes to express their thoughts on issues impacting Carbondale neighborhoods and the role the Carbondale City Council can play in addressing such issues. We will hear from the candidates in the following order. First, Mr. Nathan Colombo, then Ms. Ginger Rye Sanders, then current Councilman Jeff Dougherty, then Mr. Melvin Pepper Holder, then current Councilwoman Jessica Bradshaw, then Mr. Nick Smaligo, and finally current Councilwoman Carolyn Harvey. Candidates, please mute yourself until you're called upon to speak. Mr. Colombo, you may unmute and speak now.
Absolutely. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for being on this call or watching this from Facebook through the library's Facebook page. This type of activity here and everything that we've seen expressed by the folks that have represented our community organizations and the city of Carbondale are exactly why I'm seeking a council seat because this is the type of work that I want to be involved in. I think it was Jess earlier that used the phrase pollinator. David Brooks with the New York Times uses the phrase weaver. I think that is something that I'm wanting to be, is somebody that connects all of the activity that you've heard here and all of the relationships that I have really play to that, with the folks that are here. In terms of our neighborhoods and what we want to address, really, it's having neighbors, right? Carbondale's issue over the past couple of decades has been population decline, namely due to declining enrollment at SIU, but that gives us an opportunity to open up different avenues to address filling the houses next door with people that we can welcome into the community that we've just expressed is so wonderful and vibrant that we need to have folks involved in. So I think there is an opportunity right now to set our city forth as the city of refuge in America in a time of climate change and natural disasters occurring not just throughout the globe, but right here in our backyard in the USA. Seeing folks that are fleeing wildfires in California or hurricanes in the Gulf Coast, or some of the most recent issues that we've seen, like the winter weather in Texas, right? That displaces folks and puts them on a path to land somewhere that is going to be safe for the future. And we are a community that is going to be safe for the future. Reason being, again, there are so many folks doing so many kinds of work that intertwine so well that we can provide a sustainable, livable future. And a big driver in that, as you've heard from a number of organizations and from the city itself, is that the city is both a policy standard in building that life, as well as an actual functional staff-led effort to make these things happen. So I've eaten up a lot of my time on the introduction here, but some of the things that were asked about that weren't referenced directly in the opening of this conversation was talking about COVID response and transportation to get vaccinated, cooperation and coordination with park management between the city and the park district, and police issues, including community policing and the proposed Northeast substation at the Irma Hayes Center, right? As far as COVID response, we've done a wonderful job getting shots in arms, and that's because we have a number of community partners, right? I wish that we would have had a little bit more teeth in enforcing some of the policies we set forth for our community, because we had some folks that didn't take public health crisis as seriously as we should have. But ultimately, I think that shook out okay. In terms of the cooperation between the Park District and the city of Carbondale, I've got relationships with key players in all roles on all sides of the issue. And I think simply being in the room to have that tough conversation as a city council person would be welcome. And in terms of our police department, right, I think our main issue, right, is we sit here and say that we want to have community policing, but we don't have police that actually live in our community. I think that's a concern that, especially when searching for a new police chief, that we need to address of how do we actually have the folks that are supposed to be servicing our community be in our community. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Colombo. Now we'll hear from Ginger Rice Sanders.
Ginger, you're muted. We can't hear you. You're still muted. You're still muted. Jennifer, can you offer her some assistance maybe?
There.
Okay.
There
I am on the telephone. I'm on the telephone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm on the phone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, but you need to sit in front of your camera so we can see you.
Well, if there's going to be, when I was sitting in front of the camera, you could not hear me.
Okay.
I'm having technical difficulties with my camera, so I just want to get my message across, if that's okay.
Please
I think
do.
everybody's seeing me sitting. My name is Ginger Rice Sanders. I'm a mother of 4, grandmother of 22. I attended Carbondale Elementary School and graduated from Carbondale High School. I attended John A. Logan and was elected for the Student Senate and was elected also for the student trustee of John A. Logan College. I received a bachelor's degree from University of Illinois in business management, and my family were members of Rock Hill Baptist Church under the tutelage of Reverend Lennox Turley, a champion for civil rights. There we learned to hope against hope, to hope for a better tomorrow. And in dark times, and there were plenty dark times, I remember when I was a teenager, very excited about going to the varsity theater because our parents weren't really excited about us going. But I did go, only to arrive and to find out that Blacks were allowed to sit in the balcony in an excluded place and use the restroom in another part of the building. Even today, when I pass the varsity theater, I can still be reminded of the residue of racism. In spite of all of that, I hope for a better tomorrow. As a young woman, I worked for the Model Cities program, citizen participation. The board of directors was Northeast Congress with the president, Margaret Nesbitt. I am a product of Carbondale. And I stand on the shoulders of great teachers and preachers and community activists in Carbondale, those who advocated for good education, good change, good jobs, economic growth, and the importance of community relations. Those who had bold voices and did not fold under pressure, but they spoke out against the issues that so plagued our city. And so will I do the same. It is time for change. I stand at the core of my platform on diversity, inclusion, equality, and equity. And I did have pictures, and they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but I have been told that they couldn't do the pictures. But one of my biggest concerns is with diversity and with the employment in the city of Carbondale. When I see that the city of Carbondale hires 19% minority and 42% minorities are in the population, that's a problem with disparity. When police officers operate at 93% whites, and whites only make up 58% of the population, there is disparity in Carbondale. We are drowning city of Carbondale in disparities. And I would like to let you know that I'm not comfortable, and I hope you aren't comfortable. If you are comfortable and you think that it's okay, that means that this kind of posture leads us down the path of more moral bankruptcy. But I stand on the fact that I do want to run because I am from the Women for Change, and I am want to run because I want to make sure that things change in Carbondale. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Sanders. Our next speaker is Councilman Jeff Dougherty.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. And thank you to everyone who's organized and participated in this event. It's people like you is why I really love Carbondale. And events like this bring out the efforts of everyone trying to make Carbondale a better place to live. I am Jeff Dougherty. I'm a candidate for re-election to the City Council. A little background about myself. I came to Carbondale in 1971 as a college freshman at SIU. I received 2 degrees. As part of my master's of public administration, program. I did an internship with the city of Carbondale that led to a 32-year career with the city, including the 16 as city manager. I retired from the city in 2008 and then served as executive director of the Jackson Growth Alliance, which is a countywide economic development organization. And I did that until 2017 when I was elected to the Carbondale City Council. Serving on the City Council has been a very rewarding experience. I enjoy public service and I enjoy my time on the City Council. Our current City Council works well together as a team in the policy making of moving Carbondale forward. One initiative we're working on right now is the creation of a residential tax increment financing district, or TIF districts. This has been mentioned earlier. Similar to the TIF districts in our downtown for commercial, the goal is to rehabilitate our central core neighborhoods by giving incentives to upgrade the existing housing stock, encourage home ownership, and improve the neighborhoods. We are targeting areas in northeast, northwest, and the southwest parts of town. Another initiative is exploring the merging of operations between the city and the Carbonell Park District. The goal is to provide the Carbonell community the best parks and recreation facilities possible. The quality of our parks has a direct impact on the quality of our neighborhoods and the overall quality of life in Carbondale. In the past year, the city has assumed the maintenance and operation of Venus Turley Park and Tatum Heights Park. And I think anyone who has driven by or gone into those parks and enjoyed them will agree that the city has addressed many of the deferred maintenance issues in those parks and made them more attractive and usable for in the past month, there's been much discussion about the Ernie C. Hayes Center and how the community can best utilize this asset. And it is an asset to our community. One suggestion has been having some type of police presence at the center. I do not support this idea. We've tried police substations in the past, and they were with little effectiveness. But I can see some type of city presence. When I was city manager, we provided our community relations officer an office there, and served about half of their time in that office, giving the community relations officer help people in all aspects, including employment opportunities. So I think the city can have some presence there, but really I believe that the community as a whole must come together to fully utilize the center, the neighborhood, the city, healthcare, schools, community groups, and so on. So there's new ownership at the Hayes Center, and I think we need to take advantage of it. Quickly, the city has a lot of impacts in various ways in neighborhoods, from code enforcement, effective community policing, and so on. And I thank you for your time. Good day.
Thank you, Mr. Dougherty. Our next speaker is Mr. Melvin Pepper Holder.
You're good.
Oh, hello.
Mr. Holder.
I am here.
Please speak.
Speaking. My name is Melvin Holder, preferably called Pepper. Most people in my community know me as Pepper. There was a period of my experience coming up in Carbondale. It may be varied, somewhat different from many others. Let me get this thing off. Carbondale in the church community, it was a place that seemingly there was much expression of how to go forth and how to do better. Those nurturing the kids, which I was one, and Ginger was one, and many others. That love that was felt from not just Rock Hill, for where I was raised at, or just in school. My neighbor was Miss Thelma Walker. She was a Sunday school teacher. She was my park attendant. She was also a school teacher. So there was that neighborhood community where someone was always present in your life. Now then, Reverend Turley, Reverend Mosley, and Bethel Church. Bethel was where I went to kindergarten. It was utilized through the ADDICTS program, but served us at Bethel Church as kindergarten until we got to the first grade in Thomas School. During those times, with that comfort of peace, of being in your community and the wishes of the people in your community at home to go forth and do better in a time where there was so much against the general population of Black people, persons of color. There were a number of white people who were helpful, who were, these people were seeing where things had been gone wrong and how could possibly make it better. And in recent years, that is something that I have not seen. Reverend Turley, Reverend Mosley received a gold medal from Obama for his participation in World War II at Mumford Point. And then there were people in the NAACP that wouldn't even attend his honoring him for a banquet was posted for him. That type of stuff needs to cease. We got problems that are not being addressed, not being acknowledged. And until these people rise up, like Burton Bond, who was very much a part of the labor thing, the labor issues in Carbondale, they were a lot better than they are now. When I was at WDBX, I used to say, this is Pepper Holder, WDBX 91.1 Community Radio for Sutherland North, 24 North to be South, 24 South to be North, except that I find we are worse off here than Mississippi. And I've been there. And so Lois Sumner, Willie Lawson, two Black people who was really helpful. There was Dr. Morris, who really helped my parents' business. And in that business, traveling all over the country and seeing things, I say, I wonder why can't we have some of these better things that I find in other places in Carbondale? And that still is the question.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Councilwoman Jessica Bradshaw.
Hi, thank you, Mary, and thank you everyone for tuning in and joining us this morning. This Neighborhood Alliance meeting is always one of my favorite winter events. I get so energized hearing what all of our wonderful organizations and amazing community leaders have been busy doing, even this year, despite the you-know-what. For those who don't know me, my name is Jessica Bradshaw, and I've been on the City Council for 8 years now. I like to say that I first became involved in local politics when I was a conservation cat at Lincoln Junior High School. More recently, though, I work as an office administrator at SIU, and I will soon graduate from the SIU Public Administration program. When I first looked over my campaign materials from 4 years ago, I had to laugh at how simple everything seemed back then. I mean, what would you say what would you say to yourself if you knew where we'd be now? 4 years ago, we were busy preparing for the solar eclipse, and to think about how I felt then versus how I feel now, I get goosebumps. It feels weird to talk about things like business development or bringing back vibrancy to downtown life when most people are struggling to keep their jobs or homes. It feels weird and gross to think about all those people at sunset concerts now, but I also really missed it this summer. For the city council, we still have to deal with some of the same issues that we always do, pandemic or not. And some are even more challenging now, as we heard from the city manager, like the budget, as well as helping our local businesses, organization, and low-income folks. We are still working on the merger with the Park District, and hopefully that will save everyone some money and lead to more enjoyable parks and green spaces, since we all need that these days. There's also the issue of policing in the community, but I expect you'll be hearing more about that at the next 2 debates, so I'm kind of leaving that for then. I do hope that all of our fabulous community organizations continue to work together and create better spaces for everyone to enjoy, inside and out, pandemic or no. We have a pretty awesome, unique community here, and nothing shows that better than what has happened over the last year with efforts like the Southern Illinois Collaborative Kitchen, the Warming Center becoming more than just a warming center, and places like the Varsity, Carbonell Main Street, and the library learning how to adapt what they do and go virtual. So I know we're all tired of hearing this, but we will get back to doing things quote unquote normally again. Things will change. We will get to see each other again in person, but I'm just so glad that I get to serve and live in a community like ours. And I hope that you will vote for me so I can continue to do that on November 6th. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bradshaw. Our next speaker is Mr. Nick Smaligo. Nick?
Hi, thank you. And I'm sorry I don't have video access right now. I'm Nick, the Carbondale Spring. The platform that I advocate, and which Bo had so nicely summarized, is a development strategy based on a serious acknowledgement of the ecological, social, and economic challenges that we face. If we embrace these challenges, Carbondale will become a magnet for people who want to build a better world, because it will give them hope. And working on it with people in this town has given me hope. And that's why I'm running. We want to fund this shift in our development through reducing the oversized police force and rejecting the strategy of community policing that's used to justify its size. In practice, community policing has grown by defunding direct community services like those out of the Irma Hayes Center, and I should also mention cutting of the community relations officer who had enforced the affirmative action policy of the city back in 2010. Both of those things were cut from the period of 2009 to 2011, saving the city $612,000 to try to fill a $5.8 million deficit. But it didn't do any of that filling, because during that same period, the police budget increased by $618,000. This was all from the general fund, and literally the money was just transferred from direct service to the community into policing. This has made us in the Northeast neighborhood less safe. We need to reassume our responsibility as a city for directly funding community programs, and we need the police to have a smaller, not a larger role. Community policing does not mean that the police live in or look like the community. It is a misleading term, and it's nothing new. It's not going to heal any divides. It's not going to make anyone safer, because community policing is a part of the policing paradigm that we have now. And that paradigm, what it does is it inserts the police into more and more aspects of life. For 50 years, this has led to countless murders, episodes of brutality, mass incarceration, and militarization. But in moments like this, after police murders have led to uprisings, community policing is brought out as if it is the solution. But that's the role it plays in protecting all the other parts of the current policing paradigm. It turns criticism of the police into an expansion of their power. It also divides the community against itself by dismissing voices critical of the police as if they are not really part of the community. Healing the relations between police and community requires a new paradigm. We could call it minimal policing. The police should be there when they are called upon to be there, not be there when they are not, and a variety of other municipal services and community groups should be well funded and available for situations when a badge and a gun is not needed. This will build trust between the police and the community because trust requires boundaries, and we can't heal a conflict by further inserting an institution that has caused so much harm in people's lives. Now, I've tried to discuss this with the City Council, but I've learned something. The City Council is a machine for deflecting real discussion and debate. When you bring something to them that is unfamiliar or evokes a strong feeling, there is no space made for serious back and forth discussion, which is what the truth needs in order to emerge. It's no wonder that civic participation is so low. The problem is bigger than the individuals on council. It is related to the council system that does not represent different constituencies within the city. Council members aren't elected by precinct, which means that a few well-mobilized and wealthy precincts can have a disproportionate influence on the council and their perspective. To change this, we should explore a modified ward system where delegates at a neighborhood level would report to assemblies in that neighborhood. These neighborhood assemblies would be open to any resident to attend and discuss matters of concern in their area in the city, and then it would be the responsibility of the delegate to bring city-level problems up to the city. If you want to learn more about that, you can check out my Facebook page. I'm going to be doing an Ask Me Anything next week. And if you're ready to build the town the 21st century needs, then reach out to me and vote for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Smaligo. Our final speaker is Councilwoman Carolyn Harvey.
Good morning. I want to thank the Carbondale Public Library, the organizers, the participants, and the citizens who have tuned in to this event. Thank you so much. I do miss the chili and the soup though. I think Carbondale is a great place to live. I've lived here for 50 years. I met my husband here, bought a home here, raised both of my children here, and retired from SIU. I have no plans of leaving Carbondale. I've been involved in many school, church, social, and civic organizations, often in a leadership role. As a result of my opportunities to serve the community as a volunteer, I have gained experience working with and on a team. We have many issues facing us as a community, including COVID and the COVID response and transportation to get vaccinated, cooperation and coordination of park management between the city and the park district, the police department issues, including community policing and the proposed Northeast Police Substation Resource Center. I understand the budget process and the importance of responsibly managing and maintaining a balanced budget and the fiscal solvency of the city. I know that I won't have the answer to every problem, but I believe together we can find solutions. As a council member, I will continue to voice your concerns and serve you. I ask for your support. My name is Carolyn Harvey. I'm #1 on the ballot, and I ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Harvey.
She's got.
I would like to thank all of our candidates for participating in this Zoom presentation. The 2021 consolidated general election takes place on Tuesday, April 6th. The early voting, depending on where you look, you might find different information about this, but you might call the Jackson County Courthouse because I have heard that early voting is already taking place. There will also be early voting at the Civic Center on 2 dates in March and at the Student Center on 2 other dates in March. But be sure you all go to vote either in early voting or by mail-in or the April 6th election. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Dr. Pullman, thank you so kindly. Look here, this train has just pulled into the station. I won't labor with you anymore. I'll just want to leave you with one final thought. And this is for everyone that's listening. Remember, one good turn gets most of the